Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wild Yoga Tribe podcast. I'm your host, Lily Allen Duenas. Together, we'll talk about the world of yoga and we'll talk to people from around the world. Join us for authentic conversations about the global yoga ecosystem, and we'll cover yoga philosophies and methodologies along the way. Inhale, exhale. We're about to dive in. Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 5 of the Wild Yoga Tribe podcast. I am so excited to welcome onto the show Feliciano Barria Alba. He's from Panama, but he used to live in Chile, and now he's actually living in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. He and I actually met at Nepal Yoga Home in Kathmandu back in the summer of 2017. We took our 200-hour yoga teacher training course together, and he is just such a fun person, has a bubbling energy, lovely enthusiasm, and great heart, and I'm so excited to welcome him onto the show today. Thank you, Feliciano, for being here.
Oh, thank you, Lily, and thank you for this introduction. That made me happy. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. And I do want to mention something really fun is that Feliciano has actually been to 85 different countries around the world. That's pretty fantastic. How did you make that happen?
Yes. Well, actually, because of my work and additional because I love to travel. I've been seeing, well, that was one of my dreams. Like when I was growing up, I always I want to travel the world, but at that time, I didn't have the opportunity, and I didn't know how to do it. It was only a dream. Then one of my first jobs was in a local airline. I was working in an office, but I had the opportunity to start traveling like a benefit. And since then, I never stopped. I always traveling. So imagine 85 countries later. I'm living already in Dubai, in United Arab Emirates. So it's like an incredible journey.
Oh, what a dream. That is so cool. What has your favorite country you've been to?
Well, I had different countries. I love Scotland. But one of my favorites is Indonesia, especially in Bali. The energy, the love for yoga, the nature. So for me, this one of these two places I would love to live there too.
Good choices. Yes, I fell in love with Bali as well. I taught yoga there for a month, and I spent another month kind of just touring and traveling around doing some meditation retreats. It is a really magical place.
Yes, excellent.
Did you take any yoga classes at Yoga Barn in Ubud in Bali?
No, but in Bali, you know what I did? I took a course for Balinese massage.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah,
wow. Balinese massage.
Yes, I wanted to complement because I had in my mind to maybe in the future to open a yoga studio or a wellness center. So even, for example, I can do yoga, I can do Reiki, and I even can do massage. So it's all everything together.
Well, sign me up. Where are you going to open that retreat center, Feliciano?
Yeah, that is one of my projects.
Where would you like to open that up in the world?
Actually, I'm thinking maybe when I come back to Panama, it will be nice to have a retreat, maybe I will always imagine something like in the mountains or maybe near to the beach.
I'm obsessed. You have to do that. That's a big gold star thumbs up from me over here.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool. So you mentioned Reiki just a second ago. And I'm a Reiki Master healer myself. I got, level 1, I think we did together at Nepal Yoga Home on a weekend. We took the time to do that. And I did level 2 and 3 in Rishikesh. Did you do more training, Feliciano, or how are you practicing Reiki? Are you offering Reiki sessions?
Yes, I am offering Reiki sessions. I'm just learning by myself too. And I've been, like, for example, following on YouTube and following online too, people that do Reiki, Reiki Master. So in order to learn more about it, I'm practicing too.
Oh, that's beautiful. What do you like about Reiki? What really attracted you to it? And maybe you should describe what it is actually for our listeners. I think that'd be great.
For the Reiki, everything started when I was having shoulder pain. I was suffering from tendonitis. Then I can explain Reiki. It's like an energy healing, energy from the universe that goes through someone and passes to you and heal you. But it's not only physically; it's emotional level too, and mind too. So I can tell you, for example, that I've been using Reiki with family, with friends, and to myself too.
Yeah, Reiki is very powerful as like the conduit once you kind of hone and cleanse your own energy to serve as the conduit for the universal energy to flow through, right?
As I mentioned before, because of my injury, I was looking for alternatives to heal. This is when I discovered Reiki. I need to say that the first time I had my session was with a dear friend of mine back in Chile. I was in a holiday. I didn't know too much about it, but I was nothing to lose. So I decided why not to try it. I did it. Immediately, the next day when I wake up, I was like, my pain on my shoulder was gone completely. I couldn't believe it. I was moving my shoulder up, down, around, and no. It was a miracle for me. Since then, I learned that the energy around us is like really real. I always was, and I was always into this energy, and that the energy is surrounding us in general. I was, and I still am very advocate of the law of attraction or the positive thinking. This means self of attract what your mind or attract energy with your mind, even if it's good or bad. Always this energy we are attracting this. So for me, the discovery of Reiki was more like a confirmation that we can heal others and we can heal ourselves too. That's why when I started learning, when I properly learned Reiki in Nepal, yes, I did some sessions with families, with friends, and I can tell you one example. One of my friends recently, he was having an accident on his knee, and he was using a wheelchair. And in the very first session that we have, I can see his muscles and the bones moving. That was an incredible experience. Then after the session, I asked him like how he was feeling, and he told me like, by any chance that you were playing some kind of music like waterfall of water running? I was like, no. It's like because during the session I was listening water flowing. I was feeling this heat on my knees. I was moving my muscles. They were moving. My knee was like moving to all over the place, and he was feeling incredible. It was for him to like after the session we had some more session with him, and he was recovering. Now I saw it recently, and he was no in a wheelchair, no using a stretcher or anything. He was just feeling good.
That's incredible. I love those stories also that I've experienced when I've done Reiki sessions. People will ask similar things like, they felt like a block of ice was being pressed against their chest and their throat. And of course, we don't use ice, and we don't play music during Reiki, and we don't use electricity, or, it's just our hands and the energy flow. And it's amazing how people experience the Reiki session, and then also the healing that occurs because of it. As you said, he's not in a wheelchair. That's absolutely amazing, Feliciano. Wow.
Yes. Incredible, yes.
It is. And I'm glad you mentioned law of attraction. You had talked to me a little bit about that as such a powerful thing that you are experiencing and talking about and teaching. And so do you want to talk more about the law of attraction?
Yes. I will tell you first, you were asking me in the form before this interview, you were telling me about my motto. And I was like, oh my God, what is my motto? I need to check and then I was like, okay, I always thinking is like, being positive doesn't mean you have everything. It simply means you can see the best on everything. So that is what the law of attraction and the positive thinking means for me. I always knew it, but it was inside me, the mind, the power of the positive thinking. Just realize that you can be better every day. Everything is in your mind. We have to know that not everything is perfect. The key is to realize that we need to be grateful for what we have in all aspects of our life, material or non-material things. And it's exactly that, to see the best on everything. Because even the bad experience or situation make you stronger, make you learn. And sometimes it helps you don't to make the same mistake, or just improve yourself and your surroundings. Talking about this, I totally understand this movement, like people that talk about like toxic positivity, and what they seem like people like me, that we are trying to be positive and we share, for example, in social media, this message about positivity. It's simple, like to say like I'm not happy every day, like 24/7. I don't say that negativity thinking don't come to my mind, or that I never feel sad, depressed, or like just down. It's totally fine to feel this. And my motto means that I focus not in the bad or the negative, or I don't just get stuck on that. It's like overcome the situation and believe that always something better will come, and just maybe not immediately or when we want it. But it's like we always need to try to become, and that is what I'm working on, to try to be different from others, like that people can see that I change and continue changing, that they can feel comfortable around me, around my aura, because I believe that no negativity can be stronger than me. Of course, it's a long way to become a better version of myself, or most probably I always will have areas to improve or learn or to be better. But little by little, and obviously like trying to see the best on everything and learn from every situation. Always try to think positive, like everything is good around you, you can attract to you. And it's like to have that mindset, like everything that you think, like everything that is in your mind, you can attract to you.
No, I couldn't agree more that it is about having that kind of attitude of gratitude, about cultivating that perspective of positivity. It's not about lying or forcing or pushing. It's just about trying to have that open awareness and receptivity to the beauty and the gifts and the gratitude for it all, because you can have that perspective that something really bad just happened, and you can be upset and you can beat yourself up about it or bring everyone else around you down. And it's human to feel bad about it, of course. But if you can investigate and lean in and get a little closer to it, you often can find there's lessons to learn. And as you just said, you become stronger even through the difficult times. It's these challenge zones that we really become better and stronger people.
Exactly, yes.
So I also really was curious about Ho'oponopono. I don't know really much about it other than it's from Hawaii, and it's a spiritual practice that involves forgiveness and accepting responsibility and reconciliation. Could you just tell me more about it and how you're practicing it or what's going on with it?
Yes, exactly. Yes, it's exactly. Ho'oponopono is a Hawaiian prayer. I heard this from Dr. Joy Vitale. I was reading his book, The Secret of Attracting Money. And one of the chapters, he tells the story of Ho'oponopono. That is where a Hawaiian therapist, he cured some criminal patients without either meeting them or spending any moment with them, not even in the same room. This therapist was a Dr. Heulen. He reviewed each of the patient files and then he healing himself. The amazing results seem like a miracle that happened using this method, the Ho'oponopono. There are 4 simple steps to this method. They are like repentance, forgiveness, gratitude, and love. The best part of the Ho'oponopono, you can do it yourself. You don't need anyone else to be there or anybody to hear you. You just say the words in your head, and it's like the magic happens. The power is like the feeling and let the universe to forgive and love. The words that you have to repeat, there are 4 is, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. This meditation, I do it for as long as I want, mostly between 10 minutes up to 2 hours normally. You can do it every day. Sometimes I do it in the morning when I wake up or before I sleep. And well, since the first time I did it, it was like a weight leaving my body and my soul. It's a very powerful meditation for me because repeating these 4 words over and over is exactly like repeating to myself that I love, I forgive, I'm sorry, and I thank myself for everything. So since I discovered this meditation, is like I'm working on myself like every day, like for everything, even if it's something good or bad that happened to me or one of my friends or one of my families, repeating this word, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you, is like I'm accepting everything that's happening to me. I'm forgiving myself for everything that happened. I'm great about everything that happened. And I always think into like, this, they always say when you do something for 21 days in a row, it's become a habit. And for me, it's like to do this every day. It's like I will never forget my life, what's happening around me. And everything that happened is part of my decision. So you need to forget yourself for everything you do. You need to be grateful. You need to love yourself. And you need to say I'm sorry too, because you need to be aware of everything. So that is what Ho'oponopono means for me.
It sounds like such a beautiful practice of, as you said, just healing yourself by saying, I'm sorry. You're recognizing your responsibilities and you're kind of reflecting on how you could maybe take action towards releasing those negative energy. And with the forgiveness, it sounds like you're letting go of that negativity then and replacing it with the positivity. You're just seeking forgiveness so you don't have to carry the blame and you can move on. And I think you said thank you and I love you are the next 2. So yeah, thank you would be gratitude for sure. And I love you, self-love and acceptance is one of the most powerful experiences or one of the most powerful things we can cultivate for our lives and for our well-being and for our loved ones and partners and children and dogs and coworkers. If we can love ourselves, we take a lot of that, the job of fulfilling our needs and how much love we need to have to feel safe. If we can love ourselves, I think there's power in that that goes beyond the self.
Exactly. Yes, that is.
So when you're meditating, are you doing it to a guided track, a mantra of it specifically, or are you just reflecting on those 4 things for the day that has happened in the past over the last 24 hours? Do you do it in the morning or in the evening? Like, how do you actually practice Ho'oponopono?
Yes, I do it sometimes during the morning. Like, for example, I wake up and I start doing it. Sometimes before sleep too. And even sometimes I did it like driving my car. I just play this audio with these phrases, and I do it. I can do it anytime, yeah. But normally just before sleep or waking up.
Okay. And is it more of a reflective meditation, or is it more just repeating those words and feeling kind of a warmth or a glow or something? What would you describe it as?
That is the thing. Like, you are repeating this, and suddenly, just with repeating, it's working for you. It's not like you need to be in a kind of state, like to nurse on something. Just repeating. You can do anything. You can be driving, for example, as I mentioned, and you're just repeating this, and it's working.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you because with repetition of any affirmation or of any phrase whatsoever, we're helping our neural pathways to solidify that kind of narrative and that story. Because if we tell ourselves over and over and over and over again, I'm stupid, I'm useless, which unfortunately can be people's mental habits. If we can replace a negative thought pattern with a positive one, like Ho'oponopono, the I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. It's just such a powerful replacement to sometimes that self-denigration, I imagine.
Exactly, yes, that is. It's incredible how just repeating this word can change your mindset.
Well, I definitely am going to look into that more and give it a try, because it sounds like a beautiful meditation that you can do anywhere. I love that you can be walking or at the grocery store or at the line at the post office. And by repeating these phrases, you're probably cultivating more patience, more compassion, and just kind of creating a sense of stillness no matter where you are in your day.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Feliciano, I would love to talk a little bit about Panama, since you're from Panama, and there's actually only 15 registered yoga teachers in the country of Panama. I would love to hear more about what yoga in Panama is like. Is it popular? Do a lot of people practice it? Are there a lot of retreats there? Just hearing more about yoga in Panama. I would love to talk about that with you.
Yes, yoga in Panama. Well, I guess it's not so popular in another countries because, well, first of all, in Panama, it's a very small country. We are only almost 4 million people, and in the capital, it's only 1.5 million. In my city, I'm not from the capital, but in my city, for example, it's no yoga studio. And as you mentioned, in the Yoga Alliance, it's only registered 15 yoga teacher in my country, in Panama. So there are not so many like you can find in another countries or in another cities around the world. But I guess one of the misconceptions is for the religion. In Panama, it's very Catholic, mostly Catholic and Protestant. Some people believe that yoga is not good, but I'm Protestant, and I discovered that yoga is like the energy to be positive, to have a positive mind. That doesn't have to be any conflict with religion. Actually, it complements you. Because, for example, the Catholic, the Protestant, one of the main goal is to be a good person, be good to your others. So for me, yoga shouldn't be a conflict with religion, but yes, still is a bit far back home in Panama, but I believe this will change in a few years when the yoga is going to be, they were going to be more like yoga studio, more yoga trainers. In general, like, for example, you can, on TV, international TV, you can see yoga practices. You can watch documentaries on Netflix about yoga. You can find any more information around now. Before, was can be a little more difficult, but I'm sure it's going to be more popular. And hopefully, I can open my wellness center, my yoga studio, and more people will know about yoga.
Yes, I really hope that you are able to open that wellness center. As I said, sign me up. I'll come lead a retreat there or I'll come help you out. I would love to go to Panama. And I think you have such a gorgeous country. And as you said, it's small, but the climate is so wonderful. It just seems like a great place to be doing yoga as well.
I know, for example, one center that is near to a beach is in Bocas del Toro. And I didn't go there yet, but it's like, wow, I would love to be there, have a retreat, just like waking up with the waves, waking up and see the beach, the beautiful sea, like the Caribbean vibe. So, Caribbean and yoga, imagine. Amazing.
Amazing sounds like the perfect word for it. Yeah, I hope you get to go to that center someday. And as I said, hope you get to open your own. So, Feliciano, I would love it if you could define yoga for me, or just give me your definition of yoga by filling in the sentence. Yoga is?
Yoga is a way of living. Why? Because when you start practicing yoga, you start changing part of your life. What do you eat? How do you think? How do you treat others? How do you treat yourself? How do you treat your own body? So yoga is like a way of living different for a better, and always changing, always trying to improve yourself. That is yoga for me.
Thank you so much, Feliciano, for that wonderful, wonderful definition. I agree. It is a way of living, and it's not just about what happens on the yoga mat itself. It's about how you go about your entire life and interacting with people and interacting with yourself, your own mind. So, Feliciano, thank you so much for being here. I would love it if you could share with our listeners today how they could get in touch with you if they wanted to learn more or wanted to have a Reiki session with you, or learn from you. What would be a good way to reach out and get in touch?
Well, they can find me. I had a YouTube channel and Spotify and an Apple Podcast too. They call The New Normal. I will share with you the link so you can share it. So they can find me there, The New Normal, or El Nuevo Normal in Spanish. And that's it. That's my social media, YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify.
Perfect. And do you have an email or a social media account you'd like to share?
Yes, you can write me to felicianobarria@hotmail.com.
Perfect. I will include everything in the show notes. So you're welcome to get in touch with Feliciano or learn more about what he's up to and keep an eye on that yoga retreat center in Panama. I'm hoping that gets open soon.
Yes, hopefully.
Well, thank you so much, Feliciano, for being here. Again, it's just been so much fun to talk to you. I love the sound of your voice. I just smile listening to you. And I hope all of our listeners are smiling along with us.
Thank you so much, Lily. You made me smile now. Thank you so much. And thank you for this amazing podcast, The Wild Yoga Tribe. I found it really, really interesting, and I was listening to you. So I wish you all the best. And hopefully see you soon, maybe in Panama or here in Dubai.
Thank you, everyone, so much for joining Feliciano and I for a beautiful conversation about so many interesting different aspects of the holistic path of wellness, from Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian tradition of reconciliation and forgiveness, to the law of attraction, to yoga, and to Reiki. It was a really inspiring conversation. I hope you found something interesting in there that you're going to pursue and look into. So once again, thank you for listening and being with us. It's been an honor and a joy. Be well. Thank you for being on this journey with me. It has been a privilege to be with you. I know that your time is precious, and I am both humbled and honored that you chose to spend your time with me here on the Wild Yoga Tribe podcast. As you are on your own inner journey, remember that you are not alone. There are so many of us on this path to awakening, this path of self-discovery and expansion, and we are right here alongside you. Remember to hit subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And if you feel called, please share this episode with someone that you think could benefit from it. Leaving a review would also be so appreciated. If you're on social media, I am there too at the Wild Yoga Tribe. You can tap into all the amazing resources on my website, thewildyogatribe.com, and you can meditate with me on Insight Timer and get your flow on with me on my YouTube channel, where I've recorded free yoga classes. If you would like to schedule a private yoga or meditation class with me or a coaching session, you can find the link to do so to book in the show notes or on my website. Again, thewildyogatribe.com. Thank you once again, dear listener, for being with me. May your day be light and bright. May you be peaceful and happy and led on the right path, free of suffering and free of sorrow. Be well, dear one. Be well.